Hello everyone and welcome to this recording. I decided to give the Journey to the Savage Planet table a spin, just so you see what you can do with it. So I'll just start the game. Let it load. I have the injector already on my desktop in a folder, which will inject this DLL that will produce the already you have been accustomed with, which are the names dump and objects dump from Unreal Engine 4. And aside from that, they will also the DLL will also be in charge with creating the console in which you can type various commands. Alright, I'll just go directly in game. I've installed this game like a few days ago, and recently, as in today actually, I noticed that the game updated. I don't know if it's just happening to me today or is it an old update. Looking online, I saw that the most recent game update is 107. Which makes me believe that perhaps it's just a late update on my end. I don't think it happens for everyone at the same time. So let me get out of the Javelin, outside of the Javelin.
Ambient temperature 81 degrees.
At this point in time, I finished the main story. I finished the side objectives. I have all of the upgrades. Well, the game is completed 100%, so to speak. I haven't found everything in the key index, like the flora, fauna, whatever. So let's open up Cheat Engine. Let's target the game. And let's load the table. Like I said, there is a script atop the table called compact mode. What it will do is generate this. So you can toggle full view from Cheat Engine to compact mode. The reason you may want compact mode view is, well, you'll see that the debug section contains quite a big list of stuff. Not all of them are currently available, and that is because the main script in this table is not enabled. And that is called enable. Enable it, and then you'll see everything in here gets populated. Alright, we'll move on to the engine part, where you have this feature called Hook, Cheat Manager Execs, Fly, Ghost, and Walk. Now let me show you what happens when I inject the DLL. Two text files are going to be generated in the Win64 folder inside your game folder. And aside from that, when you press tilde key, you'll see this. This is the game's console. Now, back to Cheat Engine, it says here, Hook, Cheat Manager Execs, Fly, Ghost, and Walk. Now, when you type in-game in the console, the command fly, you'll see a message that says you feel much lighter. Normally, in development mode, this will activate fly mode. But in default Unreal Engine 4 shipping builds, you will not have this piece of code compiled within the executable. I think the designers of the Unreal Engine 4 engine decided that, well, for retail and shipping, for developers, it's useful not to have cheats or developer commands available to people, and so on and so forth, not to mention the console. In order for that console to be available to you, there's a piece of code that runs that creates an object, which is then used in, well, the engine itself to process console events or key events from the keyboard and display this. So it's not like the code is there, it had to be generated and ran inside that DLL of mine. Alright, now as I run, pressing the shift key, you see that there's no depletion top, and that is because everything that you alter in Cheat Engine in here in the debug section, if you hit a save game, it will be stored into your save game. So what I used earlier before exiting the game was the option from the script section, which gives you infinite stamina, which toggles a bool, and that was basically saved along with all of the other data when I went back to the Javelin. So right now I have unlimited stamina without activating any script, as you can see. I'm assuming that, let's check. No, this one was reset, so I don't have God mode enabled. It should be 05 here instead of 85. But let's also check the damage system component. Alright, so this is not enabled as well. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few seconds. And for the stamina consumption rate, oh, I'm sorry. They let me rewind on that. These are not stored in your save game, as you can see. So my bad. The reason I don't see stamina depleting is because I play the DLC, and in the DLC you have a feature. Let me show you. So in here, you can take a look at your upgrades. Well, I think I could have actually seen this outside, but anyway. And the backpack, I think, where was it? Here? Here. You have infinite stamina. So this is something that you gather resources for, and then you enable it, you basically research it, and then basically you have infinite stamina. I think that's a bool or a property somewhere in the engine that basically skips stamina processing. I haven't found it, but anyway, if you look hard enough for it, you'll find it with ease. So that takes stamina out of the equation. Let me go outside, because inside the javelin I also don't have access to the weapon.
Temperature 92 degrees. Vital signs nominal.
Alright, so back to here. Now you saw that when I typed fly, nothing happened. I don't fly, I'm still moving on the ground, blah blah blah. When I press ghost, you see the default message, you feel at the rail. This is a standard message, but again, nothing happens because, well, like I said, the core of the function is not compiled. Now, when you enable hook cheat manager execs, this is basically what's going to happen. And now when you try to type in fly, you'll see this message. Sunbeam, fly on. Now this also doesn't give you access to the full functionality of fly, and that is because, well, you'll see as I move what happens. So as I move, also I'm pressing shift key so I can't run, but as I move you see that I move very slow. But if I hit a surface that allows me to gain height, you can see that I'm floating. But as I point the mouse upwards, or left or right or whatever in this direction, I don't go up, I just move on XY plane. Alright, now when you type in walk, you're back to the ground, everything's back to normal. When you type in ghost, you have basically fly plus the ability to walk through objects. But because collision is disabled, you will not be able to gain Z height. So even with that hook in place, the functionality is, let's say, incomplete. You cannot use it fully. Now if you want to use it fully, then you'll also have to enable one of these two. I'll show you the first one. Hijack, move forward and move right. Now when I press fly and I start to walk, you see that whenever I'm pointing the mouse upwards or downwards, I'm going in that direction. It's still a slow process because when you have fly enabled, any other functionality that relates to your character's movement component is basically disabled. So you can press shift to gain speed, but you can go up and you can go down with just pointing the mouse in that direction. So you're basically moving in the direction where you're aiming your crosshair. Alright, so this makes fly, let's say, complete. If you type in ghost, you can also move through the walls and under the map and wherever you want to go. Walk brings you back to the ground. Let me think. So if I type in fly, yeah. So One thing to avoid is pressing spacebar while you're flying, and I'll explain why. Because when you do this, you'll basically jump, and you're going to reset the movement state. Well, this is fine and dandy, and you'll say, well, what if I just want to simply disable fly without typing anything in, like walk, and just press spacebar and I'll just go back to the ground? Okay, this may be nice and dandy, but if you do ghost, for example, remember that you disabled collisions right now, so when you press space, this is what's going to happen. Yeah. So we died. That is because collisions were disabled. Alright. So, the other script that I said you can use either of these. The other one is a handler that will create a thread. And then you basically don't have to type in anything. You have to type in fly still. But you'll see something a bit different. Yeah, you just saw a crash, and that is because the game, like I said, has recently updated, so I have to update these addresses to the correct ones from the current executable. If I have enough time, I'll share that as well. But let me just restart the game. That was funny. There's one script I forgot to update as the game updated, or at least check. Right, well, you saw the default explanation for how to use fly, ghost, and walk console commands. Now, regarding the other scripts. Back in game. Right. Exiting the javelin. Going quickly outside. Tabbing back to cheat engine. I need full view. Right. Enabling back the script. Doing compact mode. I'll just keep this in just in case we want to use it in the near future. And then you have here a section called scripts. Let me just inject the DLL as well. We may need the console. Alright, we have it in. So, God mode. What this script does, as explained in the topic at Fearless Revolution forums, is to toggle can be damaged property in your player character. This means is these are very stupid and they don't see me, so I'll just run around and get out of here. As you can see, I have all 3 jump boost upgrades. I'll talk about that in a sec as well. Unlimited stamina given by that research I've done. And let me find someone who wants to attack me, just so you see what happens. Alright. Dude. Alright, he saw me. So now he's going to attack. As you can see, they're attacking me. There's nothing going on with my health. This is just melee damage. Right. He went kaboom. You'll find a lot of interesting things about this game. While in concept it may look a bit quirky or unusual, it's actually a very decent game. I actually enjoyed it. It's done with, let's say, a nice logic to it. Here there should be... No, they're not. There normally are 3 squids. 3 flying squids. Let me find them here. There they are. Okay, and just... So the reason I wanted to move here and have them attack me, as you can see they saw me, is you'll now see a different type of damage. So as you can see, my visor gets all wet, so to speak, with their ink, but my health is not decreasing. And you can also see the splash damage going around the margins of the screen. See that red there. Now, basically this is God mode, but it's not killing splash damage. Now there is another feature in the table. It's called unlimited throwables, and I explained here that when you enable this, the script will just enable a boolean value which is called b is temporary invincible, and because of that you'll also not receive splash damage, but at the same time everything that your character does will not consume values, like throwables will not decrease and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to enable this one, and you'll see now that when they're firing at me... What? Really? Why? Maybe it applies... 1 sec. Well, unlimited throwables, you see that I have to the left of the screen something called grab. If I press Q and throw it, you can see it stays at 7. So unlimited of everything in here. Alright, but I'm curious why, in God's name, where is it? Where is it? I'm blind. Damage system component. B is temporary invincible. It's here. So it should bypass all of those damage types. Maybe it applies to new AI, not to the ones that have currently seen me. Let's see. Come on. Alright, fire. Yeah, that's what the trick was. I was already targeted by AI, so maybe there's another flag that applies to before the check of that be invisible flag. So you can see now that the screen is not being, the visor is not being splashed anymore. And at the same time, whatever I throw, because of that boolean value, is not consumed to the left. So I'm still at 10. Alright, let's see another one. Infinite stamina. Well, when you enable this and then you press shift to run, you can see that the stamina is not depleting. Just imagine that you don't have that research done like I did, which means normally your stamina is depleting. Well, with the script on, it will never deplete. Unlimited weapon tool charges. What this does is you see you have 20 there. It stays at 20. You can charge your weapon 3 times as you research upgrades. And as you can see, it stays charged. That's the fun thing about it. I don't know if this is due to some upgrade that I researched or because of the scripts. 1, 2. But as you can see, it stays there, which is cool. So you can fire as many of these as you want. Alright. Now, rapid fire, no recoil, and no spread. What this does is this. On your first fire, you may not notice any differences, but if you keep the mouse pressed, this is what happens. So, now that I have, and I also want to enable this, so when you press spacebar, this is what happens 3 times. So basically I have 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps. This is as much as this is as high as you can get when you press spacebar. Of course, there's also power up when you keep Alt key pressed. It's going to do this and launch you high in the air, but you cannot use spacebar anymore because, well, you've consumed all of the fuel. So, infinite jetpack fuel on is going to do this. As you can see, unlimited jumping. Now, if while you're on the ground, you start with shift pressed and then you press spacebar as many times as you want, you also have fast movement. So I wanted to get up top here. There are two dragon-like or lizard-like creatures. And this is what happens when you have the weapon tool charged to maximum and the charge doesn't go away. Now, also in the post on Fearless Revolution forums, I'm explaining the fact that if you want that charge to get disabled, you should toggle the scanner and go back. So when you press tab two times, they're back to normal. So the game becomes quite interesting when you have all of these features on, because, well, you get places and you can easier kill mobs, and if you will, you can also do this. Come on, where are you? Alright, so it's attached to him, and boom. So he died. Cool, both of them died. Alright, let's see, what else? So let me just do just one charge. And see. And you have the charge shot in place. It's easier to also do challenges. Right. So that's level 1. Let's go to level 2. Remember, you have to press R for it to start. I mean, keep it pressed for like one second. And then you have to press R one more time the moment that slider gets in the colored area, which is blue, pink, or fuchsia. What color is that? So this is a level 2. Alright. And it killed 3 creatures because, well, it has bounce on it, I think. Let's see how many are here. 1, 2, 3. So if I fire on this one, no, actually it bounced from the walls. Alright. And let's go to level 3. Missed it. So now let's reset. So if we do it fast, well, I didn't fiddle with the timeout for the charge shot for the cooldown, actually. That's what I wanted to say. So there's no infinite cooldown feature in the table. Anyway, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Got it. So this is level 3. She's doing this kind of damage. I mean, it's really hilarious. Let me try an area around. Here. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Now, there is a creature here that can only be killed if you sneak behind it and poke its eye. As you can see, it has an eye that's scanning stuff. And you basically have to run, let it scan. And hide behind rocks and go here, and then when you get close to it, press E to take it down. Now, what I want to do Just see if it dies from just a charged shot. I'm curious. Let's see. I'm just curious about this. Boom! As you can see, it doesn't die from it. And its reaction is send flying bombs around you. So the only way to bypass this is to hide from it till that red arrow or whatever it is subsides. And you have to just get out of the area. There you go. So now it's back to scanning again. So the creature dies when you do this. Boom. Boop. Cool. Now regarding resource collection multiplier, I set it to 1000 by default. So let me show you what happens. Normally you get 5 or 10 or whatever strains of carbon, silicon, or whatever other resource the creature drops. With this, you just multiply it by 1000, meaning if I do this, you can take a look to the right, you have 5000. So normally you get this much from one creature. You get 5 or 10. But when you enable the script, you can modify that 1000 whatever amount you want. And this is what's gonna happen. 10,000. Cool. I think that's about it regarding the table. I've read a few articles online, things to know when you start playing this game and whatnot, blah blah blah. And everyone is telling you where to farm as many resources as possible and what to research first and what to do and whatnot, but they never tell you that there are collectibles in game. There's quite a few of them. They're listed as side stories, if you will, and that there are researches you can do to get them to show on your radar. This is something that's very useful because the more secrets or the more side stories you do, the more resources you gain or alien alloys which are used to do those researches. So when you get those researches available, and that's another thing that you need to know, there are 2 or 3 stages. You start as a junior explorer, then you move on the chain, and in order to rank up, so to speak, you have to do a set of challenges like scan creatures, which is done by pressing tab and then pointing the crosshair at the object here, and you keep mouse one pressed and you scan it. Or you'll receive later on in the game a tool that's called Live Sampler, and you need to get close to the creature and sample it by pressing Q. And then there are some other challenges such as kill 5 creatures with a certain type of damage or whatnot. Some of them are tricky to do, some of them aren't. You have YouTube at your disposal if you get stuck. But they are doable with not that much stress, especially if you have this table. And let me think what else. And once you rank up, you'll gain access to more research options back at your javelin, so you can increase damage, the damage of your weapon tool. I don't think it's the case because right now, if you keep mouse one pressed, you can fire for as much as you want. Just know that I set the value in the script to 100, so if I keep mouse one pressed, after 100 it stops. You have to press it again. that is because of this. Max shots per burst. Default was 1, I set it to 100. And then you also have shots per second, I set it to 100. So if you want to fiddle with the values here, you can do so. Let's see, if I set it to 1000, let's see what happens. Yeah, there you go. So now it will stop after 1000. Come on. Oh, come on, man. Okay, there we go. Stopped. So all your trace. I thought 100 is decent because, well, you won't keep the mouse pressed for an eternity. You also do other things. Now the game itself, it's quite nice. It's designed in a certain way. It's called Towers, the original name. You can see it in the executable files properties, and well, it makes sense. You keep going up, even when you access the other levels. Let me show you a bit. So this is basically the first map. Then you have a second map, which you get access to. Then you have a third map, fourth map, which is a bit shorter, where you have the final boss. And then you have the DLC. So the itching fields looks like this. It's basically the level that's atop the location where I just was earlier. If you look down below, you'll see some green stuff. So that's where we were. You cannot access it while in this map. So if you fall, you'll not land on the previous map. You'll just die. Right, so it looks kind of like this. So you get even closer to the tower. There's a big cave with huge fungi inside there. Spoiler alert, not going to go in there. So let me try and do this real fast. Right, now I have momentum. There are also some abilities that you learn across the game. So this F here is not going to be available to you unless you learn a certain ability. I mean, research it by using alien stuff. Let's go there. Okay, so this is the third domain. Looks like this. So you're now above the previous area. Alright. And let's see the DLC. For this COVID-19 isolation, you'll kind of feel like in the mood to have a quick vacation. And you may want to go to Boomerdale. And you'll see in a second why I'm mentioning the word vacation. Because the moment you enter the DLC, you'll see this. Hello! Then you'll see islands, you'll see sun, you'll see water, you'll see parrot-like creatures. They're basically the creatures that we saw in the first map, but designed to look like parrots. And everything is Thailand-like, so to speak. And you also have water this time around, which you can get into. take a swim if it feels too hot. And I'll leave the rest for you to discover. Alright, well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed my quick explanation of how to use the table and how to also play the game. There are more things to do in-game, but you'll discover them yourself. You have the journal here with the missions. You'll see them here. You have all the character upgrades in this area. You see, I have everything researched. Then you have the index here. You see that I have 100% of both the main game and the DLC. And all of this is acquired by scanning stuff. Pressing tab, then pressing mouse 1 to scan something, and then it unlocks back in here. Yeah, so the other thing remaining is to basically try and fix the script real fast and just show you how this works. The reason I wanted to also show you the script is because, well, there's a quirk here. While you have the WASD default movement, so left, forward, backward, left, right, there's also, you can also use the keys Shift and Control to get up and down to basically gain height or decrease the height. And that happens when you press those two keys. So let me try and find these real fast. I have the executable stored on another disk. Yeah, there we go. So, Journey to the Savage Planet. This one. And then I'm going to... No, I'm just going to use a different cheat engine. Why? Because I don't want to ruin what's going on in there. And then I want to go to here, but I'll need to change to 0200401. Alright. Actually, I think I'm stupid because I already have those. Yeah, I do. So I'm just going to close these. I have them in this hijack, move forward and right script, and they're done with the AOBs. Move forward, move right, move forward, move right. So they're there. So move right. The default one is here. Yep. So copy. Then I said move right. Move right. Alright. And then I need move forward. Alright, get in here. Take a look at this call, copy, move forward, and then move up. I think it was close to this here. Yeah, it's this one. Copy. Okay, so I fixed that other script as well. I'm just going to save it. Alright, closing this. So now, when you want to use fly, the alternate script, so you type in fly, and then you enable this. Like I said, it's a handler. Now, when you press W, ASD, he'll move in those directions, as you can see. And then when you press Shift, Control, you're going up and down, which is kind of cool. Now if you use both scripts, it's fine as well. But like I said, if you press space, you basically change the state of the player and you're not flying anymore. So shift and control don't really do anything now because we're in a different mode, not flying, so you need to re-enable it. You may find useful the shift and the control. Yeah. Walk. Now because of the fact that the script hooks WASD movement, when you try to type in something like WW, you can see that you already move. So that's a side effect that I haven't fiddled with and find a reason to. So walk, disable these, and you're back to normal. And also let me show you some other stuff like, for example, toggle debug camera. When you activate this, you basically detach the camera from your body. And you can move around, study stuff, take a look at the creatures, whatnot. The reason they're moving this slow is, and with this framing, is the fact that the engine, well, the game is conceived in a certain way in which if you look all the way to the horizon, where you can see creatures and stuff and objects that are moving, they're moving with a lower frame rate just to try to keep at bay the processing done by the engine, in such a way that you don't experience lag and whatnot. And the more you get close to these objects that are moving right now in very low frame rate, with your character they gain more frame rate. So right now I'm with the camera. The condition is applied to the character, and since I left it here, my arms, you can see this is moving normally. But the more I distance myself from the character, the more the camera perceives and sees that the frame rate is slower. Now, a few tips about the camera, because right now we're using the camera, you can use control and spacebar to go up and down, or E and Q, E to go up, Q to go down. And then if you want to speed the camera, you just use the scroll wheel. Forward is to increase the speed, and scroll down is to make it slower. Another thing I want to show you is, where is it? Our character is here. This is moving normally, like I said, and then the frame rate is really slow here. Now, another thing you can do is, while you're with the camera enabled, just do teleport. Once you press enter, you'll see the character is going to be teleported here. And I think the frame rate on those two creatures right in front of us is going to increase. Come on, man. You don't want to teleport me? This is interesting. The teleport command is not working. Maybe it's... Yeah, it was the location. It didn't want to move me on the sand, but it does work. So right now my character is here. And you can see the fluidity in how these move now. Just move a bit further to here. Look at this one. It's very slow. Teleport. Come on, dude. I need a certain type of surface. This is odd. I don't know why it doesn't work every time. Okay, I'm on a rock. Now it worked. So it's random. Alright, if you want to get out of the debug camera, just do the toggle again. Now you're back to your character. Slow-mo, 0.5, makes everything move slower. Whoa. Default value is 1. Let's see, players only. Players only stops everything in the game from moving. Theoretically, the bushes and trees should not move as well, but I don't think they're included in that. As you can see, that bird in front of me is not moving at all. It's a bit of an inconvenience because in previous versions of the engine, whenever you did players only, that disabled movement only for the rest of the AI, not yourself. So you could move with players only active and take a look around and get past enemies and whatnot. For example, if you don't want to use God mode and you just want to play with the console available to you for some reason because you want to play legit and your brain feels more comfortable when you're playing the games without cheating, but also have the console and you can't beat a boss and you die like 50 times, you then just do players only, you get past that boss, and then you continue your gameplay. But anyway, I digress. People are sometimes weird. I've seen a lot of random requests as if the cheat tables that we provide are not enough or sufficient. They just want to play, people just want to play based on their own rules, which kinda contradicts the purpose of the table. But like I said, if you want to play by your own rules, then you'll have to create your own cheats. Stop requesting them. Players only, one more time to restore status. Players only. There we go. Teleport, toggle, I think summon also works, but I don't know any. Let's take a look. So in the actual game folder, towers, binaries, like I said, Win64, objects dump, and then let's just try and look for package BP, package BP something. Loot base, oh, okay, let me just, so press numeric pad dash to redump the names and objects. That's because, well, we transitioned several times since I've injected the DLL with the console code and the dumper. This is going to happen now. I'm going to search again for package BP. Alright. So this BP throwable firebomb, loot rare alien alloy, I think. Let's see. So there is a command called summon. You can type in the blueprint and prefix it or suffix it with _C, and theoretically, yeah, you saw that alloy spawn. Fortunately, I wasn't able to move real fast. Damn it. 1,000? Oh man, so you can get alien alloys this way if you don't want to waste time collecting them. There are 2 different counters in the game. One is for the actual use and one is for the actual gaining, so don't think that if you're cheating at gaining alloys this way by summoning them, you'll break the game's counter. The idea is you have to go through a set of puzzles or to defeat several monsters in an area to get a certain pod to open up, and then you get the alloy from the pod. That alloy counts towards the total number of 32 or whatnot you're supposed to be collecting to have the collect alien alloys, all of the alien alloys completed 100%. It's a mission. So right now we have 2000, which is a good way to to gain alloys in case you want to research very fast uh, all of these features here. Some of them will become available to you only if a certain mission has been completed. Some of them will become available to you only if you're of a certain level. You can see that I have rank 4. You start at rank 1. So the more you rank up, the more access you get to various features in here. Let's see if silicon also works, and if I get 100. BP, loot refill health, base silicon. Let's try this. Summon. Yep, I got 1000 silicon. 1060 actually. Carbon, summon. Yep. And then aluminum. Unfortunately, we cannot control the amount you get, but anyway. So I've increased these with 1000. Cool. But what I actually wanted to do is to summon a creature. Throwable to light bulb. So if you can make a list of every blueprints that you can summon within the game, it would be nice. Just know that some of these blueprints are available to you only if they were loaded by the engine in the map that you're currently in. So for example, let's say that I go back to my ship in the first map, and in there, yeah, this is the most obvious example that I can give to you. So these creatures, parrots, what they're called, pufferbird tropical. These ones are not available outside the DLC. So if you're going to try to summon, if you find a blueprint for this one, if you're going to try to summon this in the first map in the main game, you will not be able to summon them. That's because their blueprints are not loaded in the main game. They're not part of the main game, they're in the DLC. The DLC only. Same goes for those fruits that you see there. So whatever is not part of the level, the map, you will not be able to summon it. So let me try and look for collectible card. Also, you probably cannot control this. Which collectible card? Weapon, fire, battery, charge 234, plasma, blah blah. Payload, projectile. Crafting, Kindred OS. Options, credits, blah blah blah. I'm trying to find where the creatures are. BP Alien Seed. Creature Pawn, Rock Hive Queen. I'm curious what this will do. Let me just move to a secluded area. Right. Summon. Will this work? Yep, it did. It spawned a bee. Cool. Hello, bee. Alright. Let's go here. Just in case that was accidental, but I don't think so. Alright. Took a while for it to spawn. And now she's attacking me. But boom. Okay, BP creature pawn. Maybe that's. Let me just search for it like this. Okay, there we go. So this is the list of stuff that we can summon in this level. Pufferbird, Amber, Armored, Cave. Copy this. Summon, and with a C. Something happened, and that's what we got. Hello. Alright. Let's try another one. Range shooter, I don't know what this is. Summon, paste, _C. I think... I see the crosshair, but I mean, it's here somewhere. Yeah, you'll find some... Let me try and run away from it, see if it dies out. Bitch. Yeah, it did. There are some creatures, some birds that are just teleporting in front of you. Want to see if this works now? Well, this doesn't work fully. I don't see any teleportation happening. Okay. Pike-mander, Flying Squid Alpha. Summon. Alright. Where are you? There you go. Okay. So everything works nicely. In the sense that you can summon stuff. Gopher, Hunting Frog, Rock Armored. Summon Hunting Frog. Oh, yeah, that's this guy. Okay. Dude, shut up. 2. Right. You get to see an interesting fight. Hello. And now you die. There you go. I don't know why that bird doesn't just teleport itself in front of me. Indeed. The summon doesn't also take care of the actual creature's behavior, which is done a bit differently. Dropper. What's the dropper? Summon. So they're basically spawned right where I'm sitting, that's why they appear out of thin air. What the hell is... Oh, yeah, I know what this is. Alright. It's called Dropper. Babushka, stage 1, Peacock. Well, basically, if you think about it, there will be... One of the challenges is for you to... journal. One of the challenges, one of the secondary missions, is for you to document as much as possible of the planet in this K index. So when you go in here, you see creatures, you see prey, babushka, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. So you basically have to scan all of these creatures to be able to add them here, and the moment you basically scan them, you'll find them in this list here, documented. Now, if you miss some, instead of trying to follow some YouTube tutorial to tell you where they are, so on and so forth, you can just summon them and then scan them. So for example, babushka, right? There was one here that was running around making all that noise. Like this one. This is a babushka. You see? Babushka. But let's say that you can't find one in your level, but you have the blueprint available. I'm just going to go away from it. And you see it here. Babushka stage 1. Alright. Summon. _C. Press enter and it should appear instantly. Did it work? Oh. Enter. Really? It doesn't summon? It did. Took a while, but here it is. There you go. Let's try another one. So if the summon doesn't work from the first try, just try it again. Sometimes it fails. I don't know why. Pufferbird Alpha, Pufferbird Zombie, Rock Hive Queen, Robot Shield Soldier, Peacock. I don't know what the Peacock is. Summon. Dude. Can hear a sound, but... Ah, there you go. So this is a Peacock. Hello. Yeah, now it's active. Normally it should fire at you. Dude. So when you kill it, you get silicon. Anyway, just summon them. Some of them may have summon them. Some of them may have a different behavior. They might hold their ground. Some of them more dynamically musical. Some of them may do stuff, as in. All right. Ah, yeah. So there are some creatures. I see now how this works. So there are some creatures that, for example, they spawn in a certain area, and they're all of the same type of creature. So when you kill them, one of them might be of this type with musical that you see here. So what these musical, more dynamically musical creatures do is when you kill them, they drop not only the default resource that they own, like for example here, what was it? Let's try this. Rock Hive Queen C usually drops only aluminum, as you can see. So I only gain aluminum. Now when I generate this one. I think I have to let it fly for a while. Fly, and fly, and then fly one more time, and then I kill you. No. So I think it's yeah, that's what I spawned. I think there's some chance in there that lets that creature drop more than just the default base resource that it drops. So not only aluminum, but also something else. And then you see that horn glaring, horn sound or whatever it was, a trumpet sound. Then you get more than just the default typed resource. Anyway, I played this game, finished it 100%. It's really nice. I recommend that you try it out. You learn quite a few tricks, gimmicks. It has a lot of fun moments. Those videos that you see in the Javelin are very, very funny. Well, it's like me trying to advertise this game. But what I also noticed is I'm not sure if you've played Astroneer. It's a game where you land on a planet with a ship, and you basically crash land on that planet, and then you have to find fuel and repair your ship to be able to leave the planet. And in order to find fuel, you have to use a 3D printer, which is what you're going to use here. And you're going to create objects like the weapon tool that I have here, and then you're going to use the planet's resources and whatnot. So it's basically that idea. I don't want to rush and say that the developers used the direct idea of Astroneer, in the sense that here your main mission is to leave the planet. So you have to refuel your ship, and you kill these creatures, or you study the biome, whatever you find in here, and then you create objects, and then blah blah blah, you do researches, and you leave the planet. Which is kind of the same idea that happens in Astroneer. The only difference between Astroneer and this game is this is a first-person shooter, while Astroneer is a third-person whatever. It's not a shooter. I've played it for a little while. I don't think you actually get to create weapons and shoot stuff in there. Like I said, I've not played a lot, just started. The idea of uh, a survival game that is open world and doesn't have any objectives, but mostly to try and escape the planet by our own means. Not a main objective, not a side story, not a story at all. It doesn't really incite me, so that's why I didn't play Astroneer that much. But this one, I recognize the motifs from that game in an instant, but I found it more appealing, and that basically got me to play it fully. So, this is Sunbeam. You've seen a lot of stuff with the table, with the game. You'll learn a lot about it if you have the patience to watch this entire video. So, basically, I'm signing off right now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see each other next time around. Bye.